subject-verb agreement. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to define the subject and the predicate. Identify the correct form of the verb that agrees with the subject in number and person. Learn the rules to form sentences, keeping the agreement between the subject and the verb. Choose the correct form of the verb.
Zizi, look what I have! What is it? These are tickets for the fair today? That's great, Fleck! Who is the second ticket for? It's for you, Zizi. I bought them yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry, Fleck. I can't come with you. I'm going to my uncle's house today. Maybe you can take someone else with you. But I bought the ticket for you.
Fleck seems very sad because Zizi can't go to the fair with him. He already bought 2 tickets yesterday. While Zizi and Fleck figure out what to do, let's revise what we have learned about sentences. As we already know, a sentence is a group of words that contains a subject and a predicate and makes complete sense by itself. Let's look at some examples of sentences. Fleck is very sad. This group of words is a sentence since it contains a subject, Fleck, and a predicate is very sad. The predicate contains the verb is. The sentence makes complete sense by itself. Let's look at one more sentence. The 2 tickets are bought by Fleck. This is also a meaningful sentence in which the 2 tickets is the subject and are bought by Fleck is the predicate. The predicate contains the verb are bought. Let's also revise the meaning of a subject and a predicate. The subject refers to the person, place, animal, or thing that is being spoken about in the sentence. The predicate tells us more about the subject. The predicate contains the verb. Take the example of the sentence, Zizi meets her uncle on weekends. Here, Zizi is the subject since she is being spoken about in the sentence. Meets her uncle on weekends is the predicate. The predicate contains the verb meets. We can find the subject of the verb by asking the question who or what along with the predicate. Let's use an example to explain this better. Zizi draws in her art book. Here, if we ask the question who draws in her art book, we get the answer as Zizi. So, Zizi is the subject of the verb draws. If we look at the subject a little more closely, we can see that the subject is made up of only one word or more than one word. The subject may be made up of a noun or a pronoun or a group of words acting like a noun and a word or group of words that tell us something more about this noun or pronoun or group of words acting like a noun. Let's take a closer look at this with the help of a few examples. Here are 3 examples. In the first example, the fair is the subject. It consists of the definite article, the, and the noun fair. However, the most important word in this subject is the noun fair, since we are actually talking about the fair having lots of rides. In the second example, the subject is the art book. It consists of the definite article, the, and the adjective art, which describes the noun book. Book is the most important part of the subject. In the last example, he and Zizi is the subject. It consists of the pronoun he, the conjunction and the noun Zizi. He and Zizi are the most important parts of the subject. Such a word or group of words which form the most important part of the subject is called the simple subject. The other words only tell us more about the simple subject. Going ahead, we will refer to the simple subject as the subject. We know that the subject of a sentence is made up of a noun, a pronoun, a group of nouns, or a group of words acting as a noun. Since a noun or a pronoun can be either singular or plural in number, the subject can be either singular or plural. The verb, like the noun and the pronoun, has 2 numbers, singular and plural. For example, she laughs, they laugh. In the first example, the subject she is singular. Therefore, the verb laughs is also singular. In the second example, the subject they is plural. Therefore, the verb laugh is also plural in number. The verb, like the personal pronouns, has 3 persons: the first person, the second person, and the third person. So, in a sentence, if the subject is of the first person, the verb will also be of the first person, and so on. For example, I laugh, you laugh, she laughs. In these examples, all 3 subjects, I, you, and she, are singular in number. The difference is in the person of the subjects. In the first example, the subject I is of the first person. Therefore, the verb laugh is also of the first person. In the next example, the subject you is of the second person. Therefore, the verb laugh is also of the second person. Similarly, in the last example, the subject she is of the third person. So, the verb laughs is also of the third person. From the examples we have covered so far, we can come to the rule that in a sentence, the verb must always agree with its subject in person and in number. This implies that in a sentence, the verb takes the same person as its subject. We can consider all nouns as pronouns of the third person. This also implies that in a sentence, the verb takes the same number as its subject. If the subject is singular, the verb must be singular. If the subject is plural, the verb must be plural. Let's understand this better with the help of a few examples of different persons and numbers. Take a look at the following table. I sing. In this sentence, the subject I is of the first person and singular in number. Hence, the verb sing will also be first person singular. You sing. In this sentence, the subject you is of the second person and singular in number. So, the verb sing is also second person singular. He, she, or it sings. In these sentences, the subject he, she, or it is third person singular. The verb here is sings, which is also third person singular. The subject, Lucy, is a proper noun and is considered as a third person singular pronoun. Hence, the verb sings is third person singular. Similarly, the common noun parrot is also considered as a third person singular pronoun. So, the verb sings is also third person singular. In the same way, in the next row, the subjects we, you, and they are first, second, and third person plural respectively. So, the verbs used in each of these sentences agree with the subject in person and number. Parrots is a third person plural pronoun. So, the verb sing is third person plural. When the first person I is the subject in a sentence, we need to be very careful about the form of the verb. Look at the following sentences. I am a singer. I am singing songs. I was singing songs. In these three sentences, I takes a singular verb am singing, and was singing. The sentence I sing songs is in the present tense. The sentence I have sung songs is in the present perfect tense. The plural verbs sing and have sung are used here. So, we can see that in the present tense and present perfect tense, we use a plural verb with the subject I. Also, note that for singular subjects, using words such as will and shall in the future perfect tense, the plural verb is used. For example, I shall have sung. He will have sung. We use the plural verb have with both these singular subjects.
I wish you could come, Zizi. Roy and Lara are coming too. We were all going to go together. I'm sorry, Fleck, but I haven't visited my uncle in a really long time. I promised him I would meet him today.
While writing sentences, there are a few important points that you need to remember to ensure that the verb agrees with the subject. When a sentence has two singular subjects joined by the conjunction and, the verb usually used is plural. For example, Roy and Lara are going to the fair. Roy and Lara are both singular subjects. The conjunction and has been used to join them. So, the verb used here, are going, is plural. If two singular nouns are used to refer to a single subject or express one idea, the verb used is also singular. Let's look at a few examples. A bat and ball is used to play cricket. Here, a bat and ball are two singular nouns expressed as a single subject. So, the verb used here is also singular. The singer and dancer is going to perform at the fair. Here, the singer and dancer refer to the same person. So, the verb used here is also singular. A singular collective noun takes a singular verb. Look at the following examples. A throng of tourists was visiting the fair. A herd of cattle was grazing on the farm. Throng and herd are singular collective nouns used to refer to a single group. Hence, we use the singular verb was visiting and was grazing in the respective sentences. Words such as news, information, and advice also take a singular verb. For example, the sports news is playing on television. No information was given to us about the meeting. The counselor gave me some excellent advice. In these sentences, singular verbs have been used. The word news is plural in form but singular in meaning. Hence, it takes a singular verb, is playing. The words information and advice are never used in the plural, hence, they take a singular verb.
Look, Fleck, it says here that there are going to be clowns at the fair too. You love watching the clowns' tricks, don't you? Fleck, the fair is tomorrow. It isn't today.
Huh?
The tickets are for Sunday, but today is Saturday. You must have read it wrong.
So now will you come with me tomorrow?
Of course I will. Let's go call Roy and Lara and tell them about it. Come on.
I'm so happy now that Zizi is coming to the fair with me. Before I leave, let's go through all the points we have learned in the lesson on subject-verb agreement. A sentence is a group of words that contains a subject and a predicate and makes complete sense by itself. A sentence can be divided into two parts, the subject and the predicate. The subject refers to the person, place, animal, or thing being spoken about in the sentence. The predicate tells us more about the subject. The predicate contains the verb. To find the subject, we ask the question who or what and the predicate. The subject is made up of a noun or a pronoun or a group of words acting like a noun and a word or a group of words that tell us something more about this noun or pronoun or group of words acting like a noun. A word or a group of words which form the most important part of the subject is called the simple subject. The other words in the subject only tells us more about the simple subject. A noun or a pronoun can be either singular or plural in number. Hence, the subject can be either singular or plural. The verb, like the noun and the pronoun, has two numbers, singular or plural. The verb, like the personal pronouns, has three persons: the first person, second person, and the third person. In a sentence, the verb must always agree with the subject in number and in person. In a sentence, the verb takes the same person and number as its subject. We can consider all nouns as pronouns of the third person. In the present tense and present perfect tense, we use a plural verb with the subject I. Example, I sing, I have sung. Singular subjects using words such as will and shall in the future perfect tense take the plural verb. Example, I shall have sung, he will have sung. When a sentence has two singular subjects joined by the conjunction and, the verb usually used is plural. Example, Zizi and Fleck are going to the fair. If two singular nouns are used to refer to the same subject or express one idea, the verb used is also singular. Example, the singer and dancer is going to perform at the fair. A singular collective noun takes a singular verb. Example, a crowd of people was there. Words such as news, information, and advice also take a singular verb. Example, this information is incorrect.